Hey, y'all, it's Thursday. It is another episode of the Late Night Vision Show, episode 394. We've got another good one for you. I am happy because it is finally hoodie weather. Got my Outdoor Legacy sweatshirt. Thanks and compliments to the owner of Outdoor Legacy, Jason. I don't work for a paycheck. He pays me in like t-shirts and sweatshirts and
Caps.
ball
That's
caps
true.
and stuff like
That's
that.
true.
So I think it's cool. My wife didn't think it's that cool. But anyway, hey, Jason, what's going on, man? We've got another big show. We're right in the middle, or not in the middle. We're at the
No.
end of our basically
Yeah.
best of thermal scopes, and this is the one that like everybody loves to watch because for some it's kind of like their wish list, and
That's
for
right.
some it's what the scope that they're looking to buy right away. So tell them what we're going to be
This is the
talking about.
grand finale. So this is it's not the final best of. We still have some best of related to handheld coming up. So we'll be doing those. But this is the grand finale of thermal rifle scopes. This is the big daddy, and you're right. A lot of people love to watch this. There's a lot of guys that are in the market for a high-end scope. They want to see this, see what we think of these optics. But there's also a lot of people. It's kind of like when we were kids pulling out the Sears, wish book there at Christmas, and you go, one day I'm gonna be able to get to this. This is out of my budget now, so it's still fun to look at all these great scopes, the new stuff that's coming. But today, we're calling this the best high-end thermal rifle scope. But essentially, what this is going to be is all of our scopes that are $6,000 and higher. And last week was the best of under 6,000, which under 6,000 takes you all the way to $5,999.99. You get right there. These are
Mhm.
all going to be above 6,000. The list has got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven optics on it. And there is, as you would imagine, a stacked list of extremely tough competition.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we're going to be getting into that real quick, guys. Before, just I want to tell you this: you may be new to this channel, don't know who we are, and that is perfectly fine. But we want to introduce ourselves, what we do, and we want to explain that real quick. What this channel is about. It's about all things night vision, thermal, night hunting, coyotes, hog hunting, whatever it is. But we love to bring you reviews. We love to talk about all the things related to night hunting. We've been doing this for years, but what fuels this show is Outdoor Legacy. And that is our business where we sell night vision and thermal rifle scopes. And our specialty is, I think somebody the other day in the comments said, I think they called it a concierge service. Maybe that's a good word for it. It's a white glove service where you're looking to purchase a scope. There are, 50 or 100 options. You don't know where to go, what to look at. There's all kinds of brands and models being shouted all over social media and YouTube. And you say, there's a lot of noise. What do I do? You call us at Outdoor Legacy, 877-350-1818. If you want to make your thermal scope purchase from us, you call us. We cut all the noise. We cut, all that crud out, and we say, we hold your hand through this process, and we say, what are you going to do? How are you going to use it? How are you going to be shooting it? What kind of rifle? Ask you a lot of questions. We get this information, get a budget, and we help you pick out the exact right scope for your needs, not just the one that is right for your buddy, not just the one that somebody on YouTube or Facebook said was the best. It's the one that's right for your needs. They're tools, and we want to get you the right tool for the job. So if you want to make your purchase from us, if we can earn your business by these shows, by these reviews, by the customer service that we're going to offer you before and after the sale, call us 877 350-1818. You've got Hans, you got our salesman Garrett, myself. I've got a bunch of awesome ladies in the office who are happy to help you take your order over the phone if you don't want to do it online. All the optics that we have in stock, they're in our warehouse here in Texas. You order before noon, we ship them out the same business day for free. Love to have your business. Outdoorlegacy.com if you already know what you want to order. Hans, let's get into this.
Yeah, so I'm going to start out with a couple disclaimers before we get into the list. It is not a very long list this week, but there's a lot to talk about with each one. So, a couple things. Jason and I, these are our favorite scopes. If you call in and you're looking for an optic, if it's on this list, it is one that we are confident in, that we would definitely recommend. These are from the premium brands that we work with. These are companies that have the biggest legacy in the United States, a physical presence, the best warranties, customer service, product, all of that. That's why we've chosen to partners with these companies. And this is what we recommend and sell it. So if it's on this list, it's worth the recommendation, and we would recommend it to anybody. So if you call in and we recommend to you a scope that Jason and I didn't choose as our favorite, that just means that what you're looking for is different outside of the box of what Jason and I do. And these are our favorites. So it's not like, well, this is Jason's favorite and this is Han's favorite. These both are our favorite scopes that him and I met with or spoke about and really decided on after going through and looking at all the options. And there's so many good options, more 1280 scopes than there's ever been. Also, if you, let's just say I just bought a scope, man, and I'm excited about my scope. I love my scope. And I see this video from the Late Night Vision Show guys pop up, and it's best scope over 6,000. And I just bought the scope I'm happy with. And I watch the video and they don't talk about my scope, and I get mad. Don't be upset if the scope that you own and that you love is not mentioned on this show. It's okay as long as you love your scope and it works well for you and it does everything you need it to do, then you've made a good purchase. So if you watch this show and we don't mention a brand that you've got or that you feel like is the best, don't worry about it. I mean, we work with the premium brands. This is the ones we chose to work with, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So with that being said, did I miss? Yeah. I feel like I'm missing something.
No, I think that every week, and it's fine. We have to do these disclaimers because we do get upset people. We get that happens.
And it's so the guys that already bought a scope. They don't even want to buy a scope.
Right.
They're
already upset bought a scope because their scope is not on there.
Chosen.
And we would say this, guys, we understand this question. We do. And every single week on every single show, there is the comments, which is fine. Ask the questions. You do what you want to do. It's no problem there. We're not upset about that. But it's the question of, what about this? Why did you not include this brand? Well, we can tell you for a fact is if it's not on this list, there's a reason. We'll leave it at that. Okay. If it's not on this list, that brand, there is a reason, because I promise you, we're testing a whole lot of scopes that we choose not to sell, a whole lot of brands that we choose not to sell. So these are the premium. So let's get into the best 2025, the very best of the best high-end thermal rifle scopes. Here we go. I'm going to read the list. And as we go, we're going to just spend a couple minutes talking about each of these optics here briefly. The Knockpix Rico 2 H75R. It's a 4-power 640 with a laser rangefinder, and it's $64.99. Now, let me tell you briefly what this scope is. The Rico 2, as you're familiar, or you probably are familiar, or could be, the Rico was formerly in the Infrared Outdoor line. Well, Infrared Outdoor and Knockpix are both owned by iRay USA, or distributed here in the U.S. by iRay USA, and they just moved that model name over to the Knockpix brand. And so this is the Rico 2. So this is a new scope, and it is, again, the H75R. So we got a 75 millimeter lens, 640, laser rangefinder built into it. Right there on the side of it, very small LRF. It's got everything you'd expect it to, all the ballistics, all these scopes do. So I'm not even going to mention that. All these scopes have the ballistics and all the normal features. This scope is an unsung hero on this list. It will be. It always will be, because it is a 640 4-power. And there are a lot of guys who don't need 4-power, but there are guys who do. And I'm going to go ahead and say this here, and I'm not going to spend too much longer on this. This is the right scope for a select group of serious long-range hunters. And a lot of them make the mistake of not buying this scope and instead buying a 1024 or a 1280 optic with lower magnification that's actually not right for them, but they
Hmm.
don't like the idea of spending $6,500 and not getting a 1280 when they can go up to, let's just say, 69, so $500. So in their mind, they would rather have a 2-power 1280 than a 4-power 640, but it's actually a mistake.
Hmm.
And so, again, that's one of those things we can hash out on the phone. Super scope, super image quality. And this is a scope that I'm just telling you guys, it's an unsung hero on this list.
If I were going to go, and I've never been, but if I were ever to go to like some of these places that people talk about are really wide open, Utah or
Out west, yeah.
yeah, out west, that's the scope I would probably grab. To be honest with you, I mean, and you're right. People, I think, get lured into the higher, the 1280 resolution or 1024 when actually they need a 4-power scope. A 4-power base scope like this is never going to be like the number one selling scope in the market because it is for a very small select few, but it is an important scope for the person that needs it. And I think that that continues to be, they had like you said, they had the other one that was now converted over to the knock picks. But I mean, people get them, and the people that get them really, really like them. Great scope, great image. I
Yep,
mean, just
it
fantastic
is.
image, and you can see it seems like a mile with it. It
Yeah, it
just
is.
does so good. Yeah.
All right, next scope we're going to go quicker with, but I said that. I don't know how I can because scope deserves some accolades as well. This is the InfraRay Outdoor, again from iRay USA. It's the hybrid compact HC50R, so HC50R. It's got a laser rangefinder built in. It's a 3.5 power 640. Here's the claim to fame on this. By the way, this Ricoh 2 that I just mentioned, and then now this hybrid compact, brand new optics. They've only been out for, I don't know, a month or so, maybe
Yeah.
less. So we don't have reviews of them yet. We've been using them in the field for a while, even before they came out. Guys, this scope, this hybrid compact HC50R, is the very first sub 12 micron 640 sensor on the US thermal hunting market. This is a 10 micron optic. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this, I'll say it out loud. Hans is going to know this is true. When we heard about this optic and we heard it was coming, there was a discussion of what do you think it's going to look like? Do
Mhm.
you think the 10 microns is going to be legit? Are we going to be able to tell? And I said, no, I don't think so. I think it's going to look just like a 640, and on
Yeah.
paper it's going to look good. But I was wrong. I was
Yeah,
wrong. The sharpness that you
it is.
get out of this optic, it is small, it's compact. Again, 3.5 power. Hans,
Hmm.
it's a sweet little optic.
Yeah, I've got it
Sixty-four
sitting right.
ninety-nine. I don't know if I said that. So $6,500.
I got it sitting right here. We've been
Oh, do you?
testing it and stuff. Yeah, I've got it here in my hand. See, it is very small, 3.5 power, high base magnification with a built-in laser rangefinder. Really great image, but buyer beware. I'm going to say this, Jason, because it's going to happen. People are going to think that the lower micron number is going to outperform a scope at 1280 resolution, and I would say
Right.
it's not going to overcompensate. It's not going to outdo a 1280 scope. So don't think because it's a 10 micron, well, it's going to have a better image than a 1280 resolution. I would say when it comes to picture quality, is always going to trump everything. But yeah, very, very crisp, clear image, high base magnification. It's coyote tan. I mean, come on, y'all. If you want something that's got a lot of base magnification, long range shooter, but you want a compact, you got a lightweight setup, perfect scope. Absolutely love it. Jason, you're not going to get it back for a while because I really like that scope a lot.
That's a good scope. All right, guys. Moving on. We got the Knockpix Ace
Hmm.
S60R laser rangefinder, 2 power, 1280, 30 millimeter tube, 69.99. All right, guys. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to say here, and I think that this is for good reason. It's been one of the most sought after scopes of
Hmm.
2025. It came out. Now I'm thinking, Hans, did this scope, was it released
Well,
in January or was it released in late
I think
2024?
it was announced in January, and then getting them in and stuff.
Yeah,
So, but yeah,
I
they
couldn't
were.
remember when it was announced. Time
Yeah.
flies. Been nearly a year. It's been out basically all year. But what happened was just unreal. The demand for this scope on the
Hmm.
front end, supply was low, demand was crazy. Just got sold everything we could get, and could have. I mean, had people on deposits. We had to cancel. I don't know how many. A lot of deposits
Right.
when eventually come. The tariffs and all this stuff. They weren't coming in. They didn't come in for months and months,
Yeah.
and so it's like, hey, this is just a disaster. Everybody wanted this scope. I
Hmm.
actually saw someone on social media sell a used one for over retail. They said, I've got one.
What?
I've hunted with it a couple of times. Want to be done. And it was like $800 over retail, and it lasted like 2 minutes. So I was like, I'll take it. I'm like,
Wow, that's
wow.
crazy.
So it was that popular, still is that popular. It
Mm.
is a fantastic optic. It's got ocular zoom, which is something we've
Hmm.
talked about on those Ace models. Again, it's a 2-power 1280. The ocular magnification back there allows you to kind of cheat that system, so you're able to have that nice wide field of view for the closer range shots. Use the ocular zoom, maybe even in combination with your digital zoom if you
Hmm.
want to, and take some of those longer shots. Again, 30 millimeter tube, so it doesn't matter if it's a bolt gun or an AR. Scope does it all.
I'll say this because I know we're pushing time, but it's the most versatile scope on this list. I would say, as
Yes.
far as being able to have something short range and long range, it can absolutely shoot long range because of the ocular magnification. It is probably the most popular for a reason, and I think
Yeah.
you'll might I don't want to spill it. You might hear more about it later on in the show. So
All right, Hans, I'm
yeah,
going to try to go quicker, but gosh,
yeah,
these scopes
please.
deserve it.
There's
I mean,
they
this
do.
is we're talking about the loaded Cadillacs. These are the Escalades. These are the ones that are hard to not spend a lot of time on. But Pulsar Thermion 2 XL60 laser rangefinder, 2.5 power, 1024 for 69.99. This is Pulsar's first jump into a higher base magnification, HD model 1024 right there with the 1280s. It was also Pulsar's first time to get into the big screens, the 2560 by 2560 displays that we all love so much. This
Mhm.
scope has been definitely one of Pulsar's more popular, high-end scopes. This thing has sold really well this year. A lot of Pulsar fans had been waiting for Pulsar to get something with a higher base mag in the 1024. Their last scope, the XL50, was only a 1.75 power, and it was just a little less than a lot of these guys wanted. So 2.5 power really put Pulsar in the running.
I think, the biggest improvement on there, the best thing they could have done is move that magnification from 1.75 up to
Yep.
2.5 power with the big screen on it. Looks fantastic. Great image. And I will say there have been a lot of people that have been even online, Facebook, and Facebook can be brutal sometimes, but are how complimentary they are on how well the bullet calculator works on it,
Yes.
how accurate it is. So, a lot of people out there are testing them and using them, putting them to the test at really, really long ranges. And the pulsars seem to be doing very well. I guess the algorithm that they use for their calculator is very precise.
Yeah.
I know when you go in there, I mean, you can even choose. They have so many preloaded factory ammo loads in there that you can choose from. It's fantastic on
Pulsar,
that.
of all the premium brands, Pulsar's been doing the ballistics longer than anybody else, so they
Hmm.
definitely probably had a little edge there. Moving
Right.
on, these two scopes are going to be easy to talk about together, so I'm kind of going to lump them together. It is the AGM Evolver LRF, 2.5 power, 1280. This scope looks, it's more of the block style design. Okay, it's not a 30 millimeter tube like we were talking about the Thermion and the Ace being. And then it's
Hmm.
76.95, so right at 7,700. Well, its sibling is the AGM Adder V2 60 1280 laser rangefinder, 2.5 power, for the same price, $76.95. So the reason I'm going to lump these two scopes together, they're the same scope, all right, in different bodies. Same image quality, same magnification, same sensor, same price. So when somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm looking at these two scopes, which one do I buy?" I say, number one, you're going to put it on a bolt gun, absolutely go with the adder. If you're going to put it on, any type of rifle like that, adder. If you like that style, adder. If it's an AR only and you don't really care, it's up to you. You make that decision of which style you desire, but they are essentially the same scope. This is a big deal for AGM. Here's the reason. This is AGM's first foray into the 1280s, in the high-end stuff. And AGM has made their brand as really a lot of good budget-friendly optics. But in the last 2 years, we have seen them moving up and getting higher end 640s. Now the 1280s, and not just one, but two 1280s. Again, laser rangefinders, ballistics, all that jazz. Fantastic optics. And here's the thing. It's their first time up in here, which it's everybody's first time, to be honest. I mean, really getting up into these 1280s and 1024s. But AGM brought it. These are both really, really good scopes, 2560 displays. I like them both a lot, and I like the fact that they're the same scope, essentially. You just get to choose, which style you like. I'm glad they didn't make one a little different than the other. That would just be kind of more confusing and annoying when you're getting ready to buy one, but both great optics.
They are. And I'll tell you, if you look at all the companies of the premium brands, AGM has probably made the most changes and most moves this year. If you look at their Rattler series, where they put the laser rangefinder in the lens, we've already talked about this in previous shows, with increasing magnifications on their adders and putting laser rangefinders on their adders and making more of the budget-friendly options, and now reaching up into the higher, the ultra-high resolution stuff. They have, I think, of all the companies, had more changes and involvement, and they're always quick to change when it comes to improving their optics based on feedback from the consumers, whether it be, again, 640 scopes with higher than 2.5 power base magnification, which is what they had before, increasing that. And these are good optics for their very first ultra high resolution. Jump into it. Before that, before these scopes, I think the most expensive scope that they had was not even over 5,000. Maybe it was in the 5 to 6, but it was, they didn't have anything in this higher end price bracket. And to come in with two optics, I think is a great thing. But yes, of all the companies that I think are on our list, they've added more and changed more to improve their optics based on consumer feedback more than any company that I can look at right now.
I like both these scopes a lot. Very, very good optics. Moving on, last one on the list. This is going to be the new, again, we don't have a review of it because it is so new, the Knockpix Rico 2 S75R. This is another first. It is the first 3-power 1280 laser rangefinder scope on the market, $79.99. Now let me say one quick thing before I jump into this scope. There are a lot of first on this list, and there should be, because you're dealing with the most expensive optics. So you should be like, this is something new, where the first time we've seen it is up here in this price range. And obviously over time, these features trickle down as prices come down and these get into the lower priced optics. But it is the first 3-power. And I know there's people who have been listening to this going, guys, your list sounds great, but why are all these 1280s 2 and 2.5 power? You finally got a 3-power. That's right. And they had to use a 75 millimeter lens to get it. So that's something that you've got to understand. We're not going to get into all that now, but basically these high resolution sensors require larger lenses, and they're harder to get the higher base mag out of them. So again, the first 3-power 1280. It is a big optic. I mean, the 75 millimeter lens, I mean, it's shocker. That's a big lens. Yeah. But if you're looking for the 1280 and right out, I want 1280, And I want the high base mag. I don't need 2 power. I don't need 2.5
Mhm.
power. I need 3 power. I want the magnification because I'm shooting long range. I need that. This is your scope.
Mhm.
I think that's a simple choice. Um, we always say like, it's going to be, you got to go through this list and figure out what works for you. I think this is one of them where if you take money off the table, you go, hey, I'll spend whatever I need to. I want a 1280 and I want the highest magnification. This is your option. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's a very quick, easy solution. It's a great scope, very comparable, as you would imagine, to their I can't say it, Ace S60R 1280.
Mhm.
You should expect similar image quality from these two, just a higher base magnification. You don't have the ocular zoom here, but you do have the digital zoom that is in very small increments. I believe maybe like zero point 0.3
Mhm.
increments as you jump up, and it's got that, I don't know, I call it like a shark fin. It's got a lever that's back on the rear eyepiece that you can really smoothly, use your
Mhm.
digital zoom going up just in the small increments that you need. And I don't know, I think I said it, but it's 79.99, right at 8 grand.
Yeah, yeah, 79. Yeah, I call it like a progressive zoom. It's just
Yeah,
instead
that's a
of
good.
doubling every time, it's just a very small incremental, and that way you can still continue to keep a big portion of your resolution is off. You just need a little bit more of a bump in the magnification. But you're right. A few years ago, iRay or Infrared Outdoor came out with a 1280. It was $18,000, and it was a 2 power, right, Jason? It was a 2 power base, and it was a
Yeah,
75
two power.
millimeter. Yeah, it was a 75 millimeter objective lens. Now you're getting a 3 power with the 75 millimeter objective lens, and it's $10,000 cheaper. So
Yeah, time
yeah,
flies. So does
yeah,
money.
yeah. So this is like there is no inflation, right? This is the reverse of that. So it's actually
It's
prices are
reverse.
going down.
Well,
Um,
well,
this
Hans,
is
let's
yeah,
yeah, go. I said let's get this. I know we've gone long in the show, but again, I think I don't want to apologize for that because these are the
yeah.
top. These scopes all deserve a little bit of fanfare. This and I could have said this early on in the show, but you may be sitting there watching like this is all fine and dandy. I ain't buying a scope that cost what a vehicle does. Like it's just not gonna happen. But here's
Yeah.
the great news: if you go back and you look at like the optics that have been on this list, over the years, three,
Mhm.
4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, those optics now are selling for less than half the price that they were
Yeah.
on there because
Yeah.
it trickles down. Because something new comes out, something better pushes these down in a year or two, and the price comes down, and that trickles all the way down to eventually the very bottom. So this may be something that seems unattainable today, but watch out because in a couple years you may go. You mean to tell me you can get a 1280 for whatever? It's going to happen. I promise you.
Yeah, you're sounding like a conservative with your trickle down economy, analogy
I've,
there.
I've been
So
accused of I've been accused of worse. So, all right,
yeah,
Hans, jump
yeah.
to
I'm gonna
this.
pick
Why
it.
don't we?
I'm
We've
gonna pick
got
the first one.
we, yeah, we got a couple scopes on here that we thought stood out to us.
Yeah.
No certain order. Hans, go with the first one.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the first one up here. So this one, I mentioned earlier, most versatile scope on this list, 1280 resolution with ocular magnification. That could only mean it's one scope because there's only one scope with ocular mag, and that is the Knockpix Ace S60R. 2 power, it goes from 2 power to 6 power ocularly. It does hold the image together very, very well with that because you have a very large display, 2560 by 2560 resolution. So you can go from 2 power to 6 power ocularly and not lose hardly any picture clarity at all. But it also has 8 times digital zoom on top of that. So if you're shooting short range, long range, does really well. Comes with a very good quick release mount, return to zero quick release mount, rechargeable batteries, obviously. I mean, just a fantastic scope. And honestly, at $69.99, I know it's hard to seem like or sound like that's a deal, but it kind of is, especially when you do have 640 resolution scopes, still within that kind of $6,000 to $7,000 price range. So that
Sure.
1280 is a great scope, great deal. I would say probably one of the most popular on this list. That's not why we chose it. It is our favorite. And I dare anybody prove me wrong. No, please don't. Don't go in the
Yeah.
comments and do that.
Yeah, don't do that. It's
But
it.
it's a great, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, and I just want to clear on one thing because Hans said it and I touched on it, but I want to be clear for somebody who does understand when he says it's the most versatile scope. There's two reasons. One is that ocular zoom. I mean, it is allowing you, as I kind of call it, cheating the system. It is letting you, with very, very little image loss, make that scope a 3 or a 4 power. The other reason is the 30 millimeter tube makes it versatile. It will mount on any style of rifle that will accept any type of normal daytime scope. If you can mount a daytime scope on it, you can mount this on it and get the proper eye relief. So I do think with those two things, it is probably the most versatile. Again, whether it 2 power, I can go out and hunt hogs at 30 yards, and with the ocular zoom and being a 1280, I can go out and I could hunt coyotes at 300. So it will do both. I do think it's very much so a versatile scope. So very, very well deserved. Again, it's not the reason we chose it, but it has been the most sought after scope for good reason of 2025. All right, let's choose the next one.
Yeah.
This was difficult. I'm gonna talk about it a little more when we after I talk about this scope. This was a difficult decision of where to go with the second optic, but we made it pretty quick. We and the way we did this is, and I like the way I appreciate that Hans did this. He said, we both said, all right, the S60R. We right there, boom. All right, we both agree. What else? And Hans said, you go over the list. Tell me what you think. So I went over this list one by one, gave my opinion. I was like, man, I just like this scope. I like that scope. And this does that. And then I got down here to the bottom because of the price. And I said, the Knockpix Rico 2 S75R, 3 power, 1280. I'm like, how do we not pick this scope? I mean, like, really, really like it's the 3 power. It's what so many people want. I 2.5 power is all I need most of the time. I'm not against a 3 power. Hans has moved into, he's a 3 power guy. I mean, he is about 6, 7 months older than me, so I know his eyes are going bad.
That's
He's an
true.
old man now.
I feel like my eyes, man. I'm telling you, it's like I can't go anywhere without my reading glasses anymore. But yeah,
You know what,
the larger,
Hans,
the more
if that's what's happening to you, I am less than 6 months behind you because I'm literally every day I'm out here like, what do they say, playing the trombone. I'm like, where is their sweet spot for that?
both of us wondering how we're going to pass the DMV driver's license
Yes.
test on the eye chart, and I'm in there cheating, looking at the chart before they.
That actually is that's a story
true.
for another day, but that's a true story. We both thought we were going to fail because we had to renew our driver's license this year. But anyway, so
Yeah.
great scope. I mean, it just really, the scope speaks for itself. I know I'm not going to, we've already talked about it, but again, 3 power, 1280, laser rangefinder, all that stuff. It's a fantastic scope for a guy who wants that magnification. Now, here's what I'm going to do. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other scopes on this list. Every other week, we've picked at least 1, if not 2, honorable mentions. And so when we got to this point we picked these 2 winners, and we said, all right, what's the honorable mention? Very quickly, we said there's not one because we, at this point, can't only pick 1 or 2 more. And then what good does it do if everybody gets an honorable mention, then it's, participation trophy because you're on the list. So we're just not going to pick one, not because they're not worthy, not because we can't find another scope that comes close. It's because we could not make a decision, and not just like Hans and I arguing, he couldn't just pick one and me pick one. I mean, again, when you look at this list, just real quick, I'm going to just go over this. You've got this 4 power 640 that is, one of the best long range optics on the market today. Will hold its own against this 1280, and it's $1,500 less. I say hold its own. I don't mean it's the same image, but I just mean with the magnification in the 640 and $1,500 less, it absolutely holds its own. We've got the first 10 micron scope on here that is, it's got a clarity and a sharpness that you've got to see to believe. You've got the Pulsar moving up in here with the first, their first 1024 with a higher base mag, the big 2560 display, all of the fit and the finish and the menu simplicity and the ballistics that everybody loves about Pulsar. You've got these two AGMs that we've already talked about that fantastic. Again, 2560 displays, 2.5 power, very, very legit scopes that I've already said. I'll just tell you, I'm going to put an evolver on one of my rifles and just use this winter because I love the scope so much. We just can't pick one. So that's just it. These are going to be our two winners. I think everybody else on here they're so close to being one of the top two that I don't think we can pick one. So guys, that's it.
Yeah, that's that's the best way to do it. I think we're finishing out the thermal scope section of our best stuff for 2025. I think in a very great way, and this holds a lot of anticipation for this coming up year, and everybody wants to know what's going to be coming out and what's going to be new. And I'll tell you, we're going to be talking, we're going to have shows about this leading up into the new year and SHOT Show episodes. But, Jason, we've talked about it before in the past. The days of like everything brand new being released at the week of SHOT Show is just not that way anymore. Really since COVID. So these companies, as you can see, you can see like we've got 2 scopes on our list that are 3 scopes that are brand new. And it's, they came out in October. So that kind of shows you these things are just going to be released whenever these companies have them. And so I think that's actually a good thing. You don't have to wait 12 months to see if anything's coming out new. And also you don't have to wait until SHOT Show to decide on what optic you want to buy now. If you are, okay, go ahead.
No. Well, I thought you were stopping. The only thing I was going to say is, and it's not uncommon to, not all the time, but it's not uncommon for something to get announced at SHOT Show and you go, oh my gosh, I want that optic. It doesn't start shipping until May. It's in low supply. You're on a back order list. And then they, whatever reason, make 2 runs of them. They go out of production during the summer. You can't get one till October. I mean, that's
almost worse.
More than once.
It's almost worse to decide on that you want one that's released at SHOT Show because those are the ones that seem to take forever. But anyway, what I would say is if you've seen this show, if you've seen one of the past shows and you're using this to help start your search, I think you're well on your way to you buying the optic that you can be confident in. And watching the videos, watching the reviews is a good way to kind of figure out where you want to be. Obviously, you know your budget, but you're trying to figure out what features, what accessories, all that you need. The best way to the last step, I would say, in the buying process is to have a consultation with us over at Outdoor Legacy, giving us a call. We can recommend 2 or 3 good options for you. If you haven't already done some research, that's okay. And if you have some, you just want to run by and say, hey, I'm thinking about these. If you're looking to purchase an optic and you want to do it with Outdoor Legacy, we would love to have that meeting with you. We do it all day, every day. We're on the phone. As soon as we get off a show, we will, be doing more work and answering calls and just taking care of people. And not all of our calls every day are sales calls. A lot of our calls are technical support. So it's not just the transaction, but it's after the sales support that we're going to offer where we can help you work your scope and know how to exactly use it. You can call us directly, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacy.com. It is our job not to decide for you and not to tell you what scope that you need to buy. We are here to make sure that you don't make a mistake. We're going to recommend a few good options, let you make the choice. But we're kind of, I always tease, we're like the bumper pads or the bumper bars at the bowling alley. Make sure you don't end up in the gutter. We would love your business. We don't expect it. We will earn it. And I think that you talk to anybody, from the girls that answers the phone to Garrett and me and Jason that are taking the calls, we work very hard. I'm not going to say that we work harder than anybody in the industry. But we work as hard as we can and we stay on the phone late. We get everybody called back. And we do that because we're really called to serve, and we're here to serve you. So, Jason, I have milked this for everything I could get. So I'm
That's
gonna let you
okay.
finish it
Hey,
up.
what Hans is trying to say is we would love to have your business. If you want to buy a scope
Exactly.
from us, give us a call. We'll hold your hand through it, and we'll get you a scope. All right, guys,
Yeah.
listen. If you like what you see here, you want to see more. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can like, you can subscribe. If you're listening on one of the podcast apps, thank you so much. If you're
Hmm.
looking for more, doesn't matter if it's Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. You can go to the Late Night Vision Show. You can search Outdoor Legacy, or you can look for Hans, HANSETX, Hans East Texas. You can find him as well, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to be moving into the best of handhelds very soon, so stay tuned for that right here on this channel. Again, thanks for watching, and between now and next week, y'all stay safe.